Hi, this is G. Barger, and you're listening to Help from Future No, Archon's Corner.
All right, what's going on, everybody? I am the one, the only, the W-O-O-K-I-E, with a smaller group of misfits this week. We got the elf from the south, Southerly Elf. Do we? Or do we not have Southerly Elf? He's here. Can nobody hear me? Oh, there we go. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but we got our resident PhD, Dr. Sheep.
Hello.
And our Ewokiest of Ewok Juniors.
Hello, Keyforge community. Glad to be here.
I feel like I screwed up your intro, but it's okay. We'll continue moving on. Everything else is screwed up today, so let's just keep moving. What do you say, boys?
Everything's fine. We're good.
So it's time for our titular segment. I love throwing that out there.
Just gonna steal everyone else's bit now?
I mean,
we're gonna go back to a classic bit though, and I'm pretty excited.
Number one, if again, it's funny because it doesn't make sense, but then people don't understand that, and that's okay. But why I suck at Keyforge? Who's got our why I suck at Keyforge moment this week? Not
has
a soul,
anybody been sucking lately? I won most of my games on Tuesday.
I mean, I don't know. On Tuesday, you pretty much sat over my shoulder and held my hand while we played Keyforge, while I played Sydney.
Yeah, did you finally win a game?
No, I did win a game. But you know what was awesome? He put my ember on my card for me, so I didn't, I just had to play cards, and there was somebody there to do all, all the busy work for me. It was pretty great. I liked that.
Were you guys playing Hand and Brain?
I don't know. Sheep is that loving but disapproving father, right? So I'd be like, I'm gonna do this, and you would just hear the harumph in the background.
Yes, and it was a voiced harumph too. Each time it was hysterical. You'd look over and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, Dad, I let you down again. Nope, I wouldn't have chosen that.
Well, you know what's funny is he goes, that's not the way I would have done it, but I still won. I don't know. It was strange. It was an awkward game. I mean, me and Sheep have two different play styles, and that's okay. But it was a notable harumph, and you're like, am I getting beaten when I get home? I don't know what's going on here.
Well, I guess I will throw my name in the hat here. I went ahead and played an alliance game with Miss Sydney. And as she's heading out to Vegas, so shout out to all our Vegas fans. Some people are already in Vegas enjoying. Congratulations to birthday boys this week. Z, hopefully you're feeling better. And Josh, happy birthday, man. But I know a couple people are out there already at Drazgor. And so Sydney on Tuesday, we're playing. And boys and girls, that deck went off against me. And it can at sometimes. But let's see. I went first, so I played a card. I'm sorry,
because the whole moment that's funny from this scenario is Sydney starts her turn, and she starts off with just a couple. I think it was just a couple random Logos creatures, and then just plays two helper bots and goes, "I'm not going off, I promise."
Yes,
and then proceeds to go off.
This also was turn 2, so I dropped one card. She went, and then this was her second turn. After I'd gone, and that was the game. It was a fun game, guys. I got to watch this game. It was actually pretty cool to see her alliance deck just rattle off. So I hope that it does that this weekend. Good luck, Sadie. But it was fun, and I'm like, can I play another game? Because I didn't really play the last one.
There was a shared moment where she goes, I'm not going off, I promise. And me and JR just looked at each other. And it's just like, hold on, I can do this. And then just went off.
She did stop. I don't know. I think we were 8 minutes into her turn sequence. And she's like, actually, I did. And it was because of a wild wormhole that led to a card popping, which was hysterical. But she's like, actually, I am now. Yes, this has gone off, and you did just lose. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it happens.
These things, they happen, right? So not much you can do in that scenario. It is what it is. It was good. We got out. We played some games. We will get into our formatting. For those of you who are able to make it to the southeastern Milwaukee area, Sheep, what are we gonna be doing to try to drum up some interest these next few weeks for our locals?
Well, we created a series of events, and we have advertised them.
Mm-hmm.
So those things should help. We hope.
And what are these series of events? What are we doing? Maybe we can inspire some other people to do a very similar thing at their locals.
Yeah, Walkbot actually has this, so I got you, Sheep. But again, part of putting this out is maybe a way to drum up interest in your local. So we have one sealed week. Buy one deck, play Swiss rounds. Pretty straightforward. Sealed week 2, buy your second deck and play Swiss again with that deck. And then sealed alliance week 3. So trying to be able to get both sealed and then alliance. And in week 3, you're buying your third deck and you're going to build an alliance from weeks 1 and 2 and 3. If you're not there, go ahead and buy those, the deck that you missed for the week or the decks that you missed for the first 2 weeks. And that gives everyone a pretty even playing field. And then week 4 is bring your banger. So you can buy a 4th deck if you want, and you can build an alliance from the decks 1, 2, 3, and 4, or you can play your Archon deck that you have. So trying to keep it level of, hey, be able to play your banger, your Archon, be able to play alliance, giving some options there for alliance people. But also really being able to support the store. The big piece is get some product, be able to talk with your stores ahead of time. But that's pretty cool. And Sheep, I know we have some prizes coming from GG. So thank you, GG, being able to have that. That's actually been there for a bit. But we also, we have a couple people that are pretty invested in the community. So being able to support in that manner is fun. Here's a deck.
By the
go ahead and
people
grab
he
something.
means that are pretty invested in the community, he means the 3 of us. Well, and
Sydney and Lokukar will, he's trying to be able to come out too. So there are others.
Well, I'm sure he would have been out there these past few weeks if he wasn't in. Where was he? South Korea?
Yeah,
is that where he was?
Like
South Korea? Yeah. He was somewhere in Asia. I don't know, but yeah, he was not in the country. So I mean, these things, they happen.
But with our platform, maybe this can help you guys, be able to, and I say that with male or female, that it can bring people out and get people into Keyforge, because sealed is a phenomenal way to be able to enjoy a set. And WoW is so much fun to be able to play. So Sheep, I thought you did a great job at putting this together. It's interesting and it supports the store.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So we're looking forward to that, and I'm sure we'll have some more why I suck at Keyforge moments coming up in the next few weeks. Let's get into nationals and what we know so far. So we have had, we started off with France. We talked about that but this past weekend, the 23rd and 24th, we had Germany and Denmark. Oh, and we had Greece. I'm sorry.
And Greece.
Greece, I forgot, because they had somewhere between 8 and 16 players, Wink.
Well, while you're talking about that, I will say this is a big weekend. I know we talked about Vegas, so the U.S. Vaults that is coming up in Las Vegas, Nevada. But anyone internationally who might be listening, being able to see, this is a big weekend for you as well. We have English National Championship coming up on this weekend on the 30th, the Dutch National Championship coming up on the 30th, the Swedish International, the National Tournament on the 30th, Polish National Tournament on the 30th. So that's awesome to see a lot of Keyforge being played. And I'm excited to see who comes out, what numbers are, what decks are showing up. And then the week after, you can see kind of wrapping up the Chilean National, Canadian National, which there is a large amount of individuals who signed up for the Canadian Nationals already. And then the Brazilian National Championship. And then, if I'm correct, you should still have the Italian Vault Tour that is happening on that weekend as well on the 6th, 7th. So some really exciting Keyforge that's happening in the future.
Absolutely. But just looking at, we'll look at Denmark, Germany, and Greece. Mm-hmm. Denmark was won by I'm waiting for it to load, by an AOA deck.
Yeah, so Torvalpo, so Ames, the Cliff Zealots, and anyone wanting to be able to follow along or kind of check, huge shout out to Archon Arcana, who lists this information. And pretty interesting.
Yep,
Runner up, go Go ahead.
Caspian DK with I believe a MM deck, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, MM.
Yep. Dav deck with 8 mutants, 15 printed amber.
I just find it funny because then we go into Germany and as well one.
Well, did you want to do all Archon then first?
Yeah, we'll just do. I'm
Okay.
not even gonna go into Alliance. If you want to check out the alliances, you can check because Alliance is just more spread, right? Like you can look at it. It's a much more. When we went into this, when we did the show, a few days ago with the winners of Dallas, but like Archon's more spread, and I feel like it's a little more evenly distributed between like the good sets. Like you have a few AOA. But you have Worlds Collide, you have MM, and you have a little bit of WoW and a little bit of Coda that are like, so it's kind of more spread out. But again, another AOA deck hitting.
Well, I will give a shout out for Petibot and Aurora, who both qualified because they did have 16 for Denmark for Alliance. So seeing it on 2 different days, 19 players for Archon, 16 for Alliance, that is pretty exciting. We don't need to go into the decks. And
we do. Aurora qualified with a straight Archon deck. No Alliance.
Bozzy.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, Bozzy. Yep. That's her deck. Well known.
I didn't see that. I wasn't looking with that, but yeah, Bozzy. 70 sass nonetheless. 69. I'm sorry, 69 sass. So
well, and I thought Pettibot was definitely recognizable because you can see they made top 4 for France for Archon and Alliance, and just falling short. They didn't get that.
Or Petite Bot,
yeah,
won the Alliance in Denmark.
Correct, but I'm saying if you look at France, they'd qualified top 4.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see someone who's very, very consistent there taking the championship for Alliance. So glad they get to come to Worlds. Like it's sad if you miss out by being top 4 in these
tell
events.
Us how that feels.
I wouldn't know what top 4 feels like.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
Wow.
I forgot about that. My bad. That was no shade thrown. I just forgot. I thought you made a top 4. But then we got Greece runner up with the Worlds Collide, which is PV. And winner of that was an MM deck, which is I know this player and I don't. Anybody can ever pronounce it? Is it Kiwi?
Sure.
Kiwi? Okay, I've seen the player around TCO quite often. I know they're in the Discord and all that jazz too, but I don't know how to pronounce that name because I'm bad with words. But yeah, so congratulations to all the qualifiers. Hopefully, we see a bunch of you at Worlds. This is shaping up to be a lot of fun. Are you guys getting more excited that Worlds is now? Like, we have an announcement. It's here. We kind of get the idea of what we're doing. We know what's going on.
Yes. I'm excited for Worlds.
That was the biggest question mark yes I've ever heard ever.
What do you mean? No.
Well,
there's
no
question
were like,
here.
Yes, maybe.
No, not at all. There is excitement behind that. Worlds is exciting. And to see people coming from all over the world to be able to play Keyforged, yeah, I'm excited.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm more excited for the extras. I mean, I didn't make any vaults this year, mainly due to child things. But I didn't make any vaults this year, and so I am in the LCQ with a lot of people, and yeah, here we are. Like, even if I were to make Worlds in the LCQ, I don't know what deck I'd play, so I'm kind of just sitting here hanging out. But either way, like I'm excited to go. I'm excited for Menagerie, whatever that may be, and I'm excited for my Grim Reminders decks, which we may or may not be getting. Who knows? I know. Just me. Okay. Anyways, moving forward, we want to do Vegas predictions? We don't have our prediction master here.
So you kind of jumped around a little bit, like
a little bit.
Okay, Germany, your champion, you did say is Kiwi.
I went with Germany and I did Greece. Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, and that's why
around. I did jump around. I am so sorry.
That's why I'm like, I'm trying to follow you on.
No, because I saw G. Weird story. G and G. Kiwi is your champion. In Germany, with
and
a AOA deck, and then we have PV, who is your runner-up. I feel like I said that with a Worlds Collide deck, and then
Well, hold on one second. So here, P is Erie Daily. That's who I actually faced for KFPL, and I went ahead and played this individual deck as I was subbing in for an event for Rickster. So shout out to Rickster. This deck here that won Archon, it can go ahead and rule of 6. It's a very, very interesting deck that is not as straightforward as one would imagine. The Mars on here is really, really cool. So I thought
triple proliferators.
it has triple proliferators, and it actually has the ability to go ahead with the Mars first and the Shatterstorm. You can actually, and the Brainstem Antenna, you can actually go ahead and just keep cycling your Shatterstorm.
Yeah.
Like, it is a straight lockout on Shatterstorm that you would not imagine, and if you can get both proliferators down. And there is enough. It's just a really, really cool deck. So I was excited to be able to see that make stop cut. Bummer that Alliance did not go ahead, and they're showing nothing. So it did not actually fire.
Maybe, or I don't know if it did fire or if they just didn't get results, maybe. That's a possibility too. And I'm sorry, Dome is your runner-up in Germany, not PV. PV was the runner-up in Greece.
Yes, that's where we were going.
Yes, and I don't know. I don't know. My brain's playing tricks on me. And then your winner was Taurus? Taurus?
Well, and so for Germany, when you're talking on the runner-up for Dome, did you see double golden spiral, Cincy?
Yeah. It's a very nice Saurian suite.
Well, but even on the logo side, IG, Tau Tau, double Helm Gramophone, Edi, Jargoogle, Zenzi, like it's there's some very, very nice decks that are here. So I
I'm just curious what of these decks are. I mean, I don't know if any of these decks break the mold, like, and give US decks trouble.
So there was a comment that was made in regards to it's the decks that have won seem to be almost going back a few years, because we're not seeing Woe, whereas Woe has really been dominant here in our US vaults. And I guess for me, the big statement that comes is a lot of Europe is just getting their Woe right now. There's individual players that I know that have picked it up just this week that has been shipped from the UK and Italy. And they're very excited for that. But with the world not having access to Woe, this makes perfect sense why you would have these true, standard decks that you've run for a while, inside and out, you're going to go ahead and take, versus maybe I got a deck a couple days ago or a week ago, or maybe I haven't even gotten my product yet. There were people who are returning from each of these events that their product was finally showing up at their door. So I'm curious if the Italian Vault that's coming up, if that will change. Because when we were looking at Philly did have Woe that showed up, but it wasn't as prevalent as even our last vaults for Dallas. There was a lot more Woe that showed up. So I'm curious to see how each of these nationals will have an impact as we get later and later, or even for Worlds, what we're going to see.
Another big part of that too is there's just the smaller player pool where you're dealing with 16 players in a lot of these events. So there are unusual things that can come through.
I think you're going to see a lot more Woe next weekend at Florence.
Yep.
Because we know the Italians have been buying Woe decks.
And all the good Woe decks were shipped to Italy.
That's
just
high SAS Woe decks. High SAS Woe decks for the prospectors have definitely been shipped to Italy.
By you?
No,
by multiple people.
Yeah, by multiple people.
Got it.
And I know I kept cutting you off for Greece. Yes, we were struggling a little bit with our champion, FW Terrace or Fateras, and then the runner-up being PV. So awesome job. I don't know if they have access, if they have the travel stipend because of approximately 8 to 16 players. Alliance only showed 5 for Greece, which is a little bit of a bummer. And PV representing in both, showing up for runner-up in both.
I mean,
Pretty cool.
Denmark's getting it, France getting it, Germany getting it. Did you have to have 16 for both or just one?
You had to have 16 for each event that you were going to get
to get the
or
stipend.
You're going to get the
for it.
stipend.
Yes.
Yep.
So Denmark got it for both. France got it for both. Germany got it at least for the one. Greece, we'll find out.
Yeah. What was interesting to me
they're
is
going to report 16 players. Does it really matter how many played?
Well, this is funny. Okay, Josh says 8 is qualification, 16 for Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you need 8 to qualify, but 16 to get reimbursed. Right. Okay, that makes
If
sense.
you're in play
that makes
style,
sense.
then they know those numbers. So it's not like they can just report 16.
Well.
Hey, friend off the street, will you come and play a game?
Can you make an account in this app for me?
Ewok, how many nieces and nephews did we have back in our WizKids days?
There were a few nieces and nephews in order to fill out. We played at every single store, and so it's like, here's your buy. Yes.
So I mean,
that actually makes
it was awesome.
It was pretty bad.
That game system, they used like a chess ranking system where you gained and lost points. So these like buy accounts that we had that you just put in, because they also awarded prizes for the judges based off the number of players that showed up, which is great. But also at the same time, like as a judge, you don't really have the ability to get.
You don't have that impact.
Right, you don't really have a great impact to make it. So, you just use Fake's accounts, so you always had 8. And yeah, like on the ranking system, these accounts is a 1,500, I think, start system, and these accounts were like 1,200s. And then once, because it's what is that, ELO? Is that what that's called?
ELO.
Yeah.
So once a result got entered wrong, where the guy who was in first place in the state got 1 loss put in against him against one of the buy accounts, and in his ranking he lost like 50 points in one game. The other account gains like 3, but he lost like 50 points because it was a 1780 or something, losing to a 1200, and he just lost a ton of points.
I mean, there are different things you can look at to figure out whether or not something is fraudulent.
Oh, everybody knew it was fraudulent because the guy who was in first in our state was in a smaller market than us and played 4 nights a week with 8 players every night, and I think he was like 200-0 for a record. It was something really stupid like that. I mean, it was clear the whole system was fraudulent garbage, but they also used those rankings to invite people to Worlds, so it was even more frustrating that they had totally broken rankings that they were using.
Yes, there was definitely some components for Mech Warrior that were not right. I do think that they did a nice job at rewarding the judges, having a prize there. Even their winter Christmas prize, here's something for you that was fun that tied in with Mech Warrior. It was like a Mech Warrior Santa or a Mech Warrior special mech that tied in with the holidays. You also had your winner prize and your fellowship prize. And fellowship, easy. Brand new person, you got it. Otherwise, who's helping build that community?
Second place.
It could be second place. It could be who's helping build the community, but there was flexibility that you could do anything with it. And with those being static for a month, they were sought after, but you didn't have to go ahead and drag out fight anyone for it, because it's not just 1 week. You get a whole month to be able to be there.
So, I want to drag out knockout fight.
There are some things, again, that we like to take from those other programs that we were a part of. And I could see them being a part of, Keyforge too, I think they could be a part of Keyforge. I'll just say that.
Ewok just wants a fellowship prize because he knows he's the nicest, or actually at this point, the second nicest guy in Keyforge, and is like a shoe-in.
Who's the first nicest?
He just lost it to Zach again.
Oh, why is Zach the nicest now?
Well, because he beat him in Keyforge, and how that title changes, of course.
So
I will say
the title for nicest person in Keyforge changes by actual Keyforge?
Sure.
That doesn't seem right.
As long as we have slap bracelets for it, we're all good. No,
Where
I
can we
just
get slap bracelets made? Are we doing slap bracelets? Josh, you want a slap bracelet, my man? I'm throwing stuff. Go ahead.
I looked. You can definitely get custom slap bracelets, but you gotta order like so many of each thing. Makes it kind of sad.
Well, good on you two for getting your nieces and nephews so involved in the board game community.
they really weren't the best players, though. I have to be honest. They consistently lost.
Well,
Well, when they're that young, it can be difficult.
even to make an omelet, you got to crack a few eggs, right? So,
I don't know. I like the leaderboard that was at the stores. I thought that was a really cool component for Keyforge. So there's things that we
I
have in
wasn't a
each.
huge fan of leaderboard. Did nothing. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was fun, but like, it did nothing for me.
It dragged me out each week when I was really struggling to, because if you miss a week, it's really hard to make up those points.
I guess, but like, I just didn't care. It was very difficult for me to care about a leaderboard that literally had nothing to offer me.
Didn't like how the leaderboard was run in this game system.
What
I'm with you. It was just not it. It again is one of those ones that it only promoted one type of play, which was cutthroat.
that I do agree with, and that I would have loved to have seen. Hey, because for Mech Warrior we would have like theme. So here's house, and you would play basically a scenario based on
But that
individual
That
houses.
seems like a rule. Like, was that set up by WizKids, or was that a Rule 0 thing you guys put in?
That was WizKids actually put
that
out
was
the
WizKids,
scenarios.
okay.
Yeah, but what happened is then the Battle Masters, who's your TO or your judges, would report back, and that had an impact on what was happening in the storyline. So there are some people that are drawn to that storyline, and I could see that. Like, bring a Mars deck or bring a Sanctum deck, and okay, whichever ends up with more points across, and you can tally it online with a simple reporting program. Then something different happens for the next month, and I don't know, maybe it's a spoiler, or maybe it'd be fun to have more storyline in, I guess.
Josh wants the AC title belt. Make it happen cheap. Are we talking like full size title belt? I would dig a full size title.
I showed you those mini ones
Those mini
for like
but
$50.
TTR already does the title belt thing.
I am a little sad that I did not earn the belt at Roseville, that June has it. I know June came in, and like when we started for game one, she really, really wanted it. And I'm sorry, TTR, I didn't really
I don't
care.
like the 24.
I didn't really care, but she really wanted it. And
I don't like the 24/7 rule that they have and imposed. I think there should be a dignified ranking system. Make this happen, Josh. A dignified ranking system for the belts. I think this is a thing that could happen. We could have some sort of weird ranking system, and in some sort of like weird tiny side event, you could have the separate from World, separate from the Vault Tour. You could have such and such is going to be here at this event, and I'm going to be here. I'm the number one contender. I would like to challenge for the belt. You can get that live on stream. It's something to do in the downtime while you're waiting for games to finish, or even afterward. One game doesn't take too long.
This seems like a community-run extra thing at Vault.
I think GG is more than equipped to do this. But okay, Josh is saying leaderboard for KF. If we were to implement one, it would prioritize attendance over wins.
Yes.
Wins should count, but not showing in what is important to the game. Any game needs engaged folks to grow. Yes, I fully agree with that. So, I mean, there needed to be this poor horse that
we beat the horse
to death.
Leave it.
I mean, Larry, my guy, like, we have beaten Larry to the ground. Like, you got to come up with some prize support. Like, I show up to hang out with Z, Sydney, and or not Z, Sheep, Sydney, and JR every week. But like, other than that, like, your average Joe Schmo who does not know us, like, is not coming to hang out. Like, they don't know us. Like, so it's rough. It's something's got to give. But again, Larry's dead. I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer, Jim. Sorry, that's Star Trek humor for all of you. Should we move? Do we want to go over our quick predictions here?
Yeah,
From
I will
Dallas
say.
very, very quickly.
Yeah, I will say shout out to the champion for Greece, which is XAOS. So, Chaos. I don't know if I said that right, but I think we had mentioned everyone else. So, congrats to all the winners and the runners up, and hope to see you over in Minnesota in November. Let's go to predictions.
All right, so I want to go through Dallas's winners and losers real quick. It looks like our Patreon community really dominated Archon Field. Woe was 60%, or they had predicted 60%. Woe, 25% of M. They definitely dominated the Woe category. Woe was 62.1% of the field. Let's see who the next closest was here, to be honest. I don't even know. Who was the lowest? Elf?
Well, technically, you ended up sneaking in because you went with the over. You went above Draz with 56% Woe.
No. Oh, yeah, but I mean, our Patreon went 60%. They definitely won it. But Elf wins out the Archon or for MM with 10, and it was what 10.2? 10.3. So Elf wins that one.
I just think, I don't know about you guys, but I still think that's incredible. MM had such dominance for the longest time. I mean, when we were basically still online and we weren't playing in person, we didn't have another set. I didn't know if it was going to be touched for a while, and Woe just came in and ripped it right away.
Well, I think the other part is like people are being a bit opportunistic, bringing things that wouldn't have slid in the MM dominant meta because WoW has generally a few holes, especially scaling Ember Control.
Mm-hmm.
And board clears.
Yep.
Then we got a whole lot of board clears. I'm going to skip Archon top 8. Well, actually, Sheep, you were there. Do you know what made top 8, where everything was? How many WoW decks? How many MM?
Woe decks, one Coda deck, one Worlds Collide deck.
So 4-2-2.
Yeah.
So that would be our Patreons. Oh, Jerry, you're so close. So close.
I know.
So
1 and
close.
3. I went with the other MM.
Sheep was also 4-1-3. So Patreon's taking it again. Let's go to overall attendance. How many people were playing Archon? What was the attendance for this one? Was it 58?
56 or 8, yep.
58. So who was closest there? Oh, me at 57. Y'all were real high. 70s, 60s. So I'll take that one. I don't know why you're highlighting JR's name. I'm definitely the clear winner there.
Because
Alliance.
he's amazing.
Oh, Alliance had 25? 25. 25, and that would be JR.
Woohoo.
At 22. We're not going to go over percentages or top 8s. In furnaces, overall in furnaces, everyone was extraordinarily high. We don't know the total numbers of Infernus because Infernus was bumped out of the top 12 cards in Archon. But we do know that there were 10 in Alliance. So basically, who was the lowest?
That'd be you, Wookie.
Oh, I'll take a twofer. Thank you.
Really? I picked.
You said
Chip, you went
32.
with 32. Wookie was at 17.
Oh, I went based off of a higher player count, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know. Winners for Archon and Alliance. Let's see if anybody who is the winner. It was Sith, right?
Yeah.
Sith won. I don't
Archon.
think anybody said Sith.
Nobody said that.
No.
We don't pick Reap out here. That would
We
be
love you, Sith.
wrong.
And then Gorlami for Alliance, and I don't think anybody picked Gorlami either.
I really did like your CTP pick for Alliance.
CTP wins every time, man. It's like the
did go.
Mafia. He just wins.
Elf also, second, William.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe came close in Alliance.
Yeah,
very
I
close.
mean, he was in top 4, I heard. Word on the street.
Yeah. I heard they're releasing a new adaptation soon, Inca the Spider-Man.
No.
Yes.
No. All right. So we're gonna make these
Guild of
predictions.
Justice League.
Well, Justice League is DC.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
but William
he-
Dafoe is an Aquaman. That's right.
yeah.
Ugh. He's just everywhere. You can't escape him. His weird smile. All right. Let's do this. Well, okay. First off, how many people do we think are actually going to be in Vegas? Are we over or under Dallas?
Over.
Really?
I think this. I think Vegas is going to be
Yeah.
much. I think Vegas is going to be big.
Vegas still suffers from it wasn't an original announced one.
That I agree with, but I think
Yeah.
it's going to be bigger than. Well, it's definitely going to be bigger than Seattle, and I think it's going to be bigger than Dallas.
I think it's gonna be very close to Dallas.
I'm going with the under.
You think it's going to be
I
under?
think it's going to be.
I
under.
think it's gonna be over Dallas, but not by big boy margins.
Elf.
I'm gonna say even. We'll be contrarian here.
You're gonna be even.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well,
you're
that's
saying-
weird. Well, that's weird. I don't know if I don't know if we've ever had duplicate numbers in a vault tour, but I guess there's a first for everything.
Identical.
I think it's going to be over because you have easier access from Vegas. It's the airport.
Was Dallas
is,
really that hard to access?
No, it's in
Yeah.
between. Number two, I think that a large portion from the kind of West Coast can
not
drive in or get there.
Convinced because Texas brought a lot of locals that like Vegas isn't gonna. Vegas locals are 3 to 4 hours away, which I guess is pretty drivable. But
That I do agree with. Dallas did have a lot of Houston friends. Yes, there were a lot of locals that really increased the experience for Dallas. I just think Vegas, there have been a number of people chatting it up, being able to fly in, looking at being able to come in. I am hopeful that while Vegas was not in the original announcement, that it also is later and late enough that people could go ahead and plan for it. So that's what I'm banking on.
So let's go with this one too. I know we're talking Vegas, right? But right after, like it's literally, I believe, the next weekend is Canadian Nationals, right?
yeah,
Well, Canadian Nationals and
Over. All the way.
yeah, and Florence.
and Florence, and I think that is a very interesting topic. So go with Canadian Nationals.
So I mean, I think this one's pretty easy if you ask me.
Well, they do have a cap.
They do have a cap.
Do
It's
have a cap.
Yeah, it's 64.
Oh, okay. Well,
And we have. This is a bad bet because we have insider information.
Yeah,
We do.
we do.
Being that two of us have tickets, and those tickets come with a number.
Yo, is that in? Whatever. I guess it's insider. Let's
it's
just go
not
with this way.
exactly
Is it sold out?
close.
I don't think so.
Will it
Very
sell
close.
out?
Yes.
Maybe.
So yes or no? There's no maybe.
Of course, there's a maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna put you down for a yes.
Well, we have confirmation of 54 orders. We don't know whether both of those are going into both events, right? It could be a mix. Some people just maybe going purely for Archon, not Alliance. But
So is it capped for, like, it's not capped? What did you say it was? 60?
Well,
I would guess it's per event.
so
64.
the cap is 64 for max. But what you need to understand is that they're running Archon, if I'm correct, on Saturday, Sheep,
Correct.
and Sunday, Southerly is going to be the Lions. So they are running back to back. You have two chances to be able to qualify.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think that that's what's really exciting about the Nationals is that they can run them on different days, and you have access to be able to get in. That's not the opportunity for Gen Con did actually offer it, but that's not the opportunity at the vaults right now.
Yeah, and I think we already know that this is larger than the prior Canadian Nationals before the hiatus.
Correct. Even with 54, I think this is going to be one of our largest nationals that we have attendance for, which is pretty cool. It is on the eastern side for Canada, so that limits a chunk of the Western Canadians, but it does give access to Northeast US and Canada too.
And
On
sheep.
that eastern side. And Sheeps. Sheep, are you driving? Are you driving through the night? I am very excited for this story to come out.
Oh, I am so ready. My body is ready.
I am only picturing planes, trains, and automobiles. That is what I'm picturing with these guys.
I cannot wait for JM's angry post in our Discord for when Sheep comes in and just does things.
No, I think that there's going to be some big hugs and some embracing.
Originally there is, yes, until the fur flies. Or should I say the wool flies?
The wool
And
flies.
then they'll make up over drinks.
You said fur fly.
I sure did.
Do you mean the fraud flies?
Does the Canadian win the Canadian Nationals?
Okay, well, hold on.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You first asked Canadian Nationals, is it going to sell out?
I didn't get yours. You're the only one. Okay.
I'm going to say that the Canadian Nationals is going to sell out. So yes. Okay.
Does the Canadian win Canadian Nationals?
No. I love you Canadians, but I'm going to go no.
Okay. Now, for my follow-up question, why?
Because apparently you're spelling it as Candian.
Yeah,
so that's
I'm
why.
going as fast as I can right now. I will fix later, but I am going as fast as I can right now.
Why do I feel that a Canadian's not going to win?
Yes.
Because that will create the most...
an honorary Texan.
Well, JM's an honorary Texan. I think that there's a lot of great players. And while we keep seeing these nationals, it's really more a regional... That's what's been explained to me. I think there's a lot of great players that are coming up, both from the U.S. side and Canadians. I think it's going to be an extremely well-fought match. I think it's going to be equal to some of the vaults that we see. But I don't think Canadian's going to pull it off.
And real quick, Unfathomable, I believe Sydney is also planning on going. Well, it is neither confirmed nor denied, but the talks have been had. So, I mean... You're saying a Canadian wins neither one. No,
so we have to go. Oh man, see that's even harder. Are we just talking? Are we talking? Yeah, are we talking the champion for both?
Yes, the winner. I don't. Second place is first loser, right? So
apparently, Archon's Corner is well known for just being all about America, and too bad for the rest of the world. Again, we love you, rest of the world, but that's what we put out. So no, a Canadian will not win either. There you go. Send all your hate mail. This is why I am not.
Sheep, does a Canadian...
Told you he's a rotten killer at heart.
See? There you go.
Sheep, does a Canadian win Archon? I'm
going to say yes. A Canadian wins Archon. Because, they have home field advantage, right? So they're turf. And I think they're maple syrup threats.
You say turf. I say rink.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to say an American takes Alliance.
Yeah, no, but the rink, they have home. Never mind.
Sheep, does a Canadian win Archon?
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope not.
Okay, so you're losing. That's what you're saying.
Yes. America. That's what I hear. That's what I hear in the chat.
Why it's like a Keyforge segment, right?
Does a Canadian win Alliance?
Yeah, I mean, Netrunner,
yes.
Canadian national champ was not from Canada for 8 years.
So Sheep is going. A Canadian is winning Archon, and a Canadian is winning Alliance.
Oh, did you guys know I'm an honorary Canadian?
Well,
that says so.
Yes. He is an honorary Canadian. He has his playmat. Okay. Are you bringing that playmat? I think that would be great.
Quick question. What if a dual citizen takes either? Like, how do we score that one?
It's where they reside.
Well,
if you reside in America, you're American. If you reside in Canada, you're Canadian.
What about if I reside in Canada in the summer, and in winter I reside?
What about if I clip my toenails to the left one way, and I do it to the right on the other foot? Like, does that matter? Like, come on now. Like, what if I hop on one foot It's just like what
I think we
what-
should split. I think we should split custody. I really do agree with that statement. All
Put
right,
every
keep it
single
moving.
Keyforge game on one foot.
Right, like it doesn't. You are talking about like there's like probably a person that in the whole 64 that applies to.
Well,
I came here to split hairs.
Alf went ahead and said even that it was going to be the same amount. So yes, I am choosing that it will be someone with dual citizenship. Take that. The chances are even lower, but we'll go for it.
All right.
All right.
I think that's the extent. We can't do predictions without Z because Z is the prediction guy. So
Will we get 16 players to play Alliance?
Easily.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, can we at least do like what sets
I'm
going to
gonna
win?
say Canadian Nationals is going to be.
I think it's going to be bigger.
The second biggest Alliance field to Gen Con.
Okay.
I
Do you think that Italy is not going to be bigger than it?
Italy's 150 players. Traditionally, we're about a third, so it'll be right in that 50 range too.
Mm-hmm. I think the alliance for Canadian Nationals will actually be bigger than any of the vaults that we have seen.
Oh, you're talking. Okay, you're talking about for Alliance. Got it.
Yeah. I actually do think that it is going to be. I think it's going to be pretty close to what we saw for Gen Con. So I'm excited. I like that it's on 2 different days.
I think you'll almost see 64-64.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get the feeling both events will end up selling out. Well, not only will they sell out, that everyone will show because I think there's at least 64 players in Canada who will be showing, plus Sheep. And Ben's going with you, right?
Yep.
So.
Well, Canadians are notorious for apologizing, so you never know what's going to happen.
So I'm guessing you are as well saying yes to at least 16 for Alliance, correct, Elf?
Yeah.
Okay.
What set do you guys think is going to win for Archon?
For Archon,
Mm-hmm.
probably Woe.
Okay.
Sorry, Sheep.
What do you got, Elf?
That's under Alliance.
Like in a 64 player field, like I think we're gonna see MM doing well.
Mm.
MM. You're
I'll
saying
go for
MM.
that. I'm saying MM.
I said Woe. You're writing it in the wrong place. That is. Stop it. Ewok. What did you said you didn't predict it?
I'm going to go with Coda.
Coda. Okay.
Because I like to create drama.
Sheep,
Coda.
what's winning Canadian Nationals? Should I just type in Coda or
He's snoring.
there we go?
He's snoring over there.
AOA.
T.
AOA.
Oh, AOA. There
like
are a
it.
bunch of AOA apologists up in Canada. I was gonna say DT, but it's not gonna win.
Is it going to be? It's going to be Heart of the Forest.
Oh, if only.
Can we take a moment? I know we're off topic here, but there was no DT deck represented at Dallas. Can we have a moment of silence?
Well, JM's hair is on fire because 3.4% of the decks in Dallas were Vaultmaster decks.
Oh wait, can I change my answer to Vaultmaster for
No.
winning Archon?
I mean, if you want to be wrong, sure.
Yeah. I'll go out on a limb here.
That is 2 Vaultmaster decks showing up at Dallas. 2. Neither made top 8. Yeah, there's not a single DT deck in there, is there? AOA 1.7. Call,
They talk about it.
12.1.
They talked about it. Yeah.
I'm not playing for the odds here. I'm playing to stir controversy.
There's no controversy in any. Of
I
what
know,
You
I
just I wish to tell you there was. There's not.
Or did you saying there's no controversy make controversy?
I mean, that's what this show does. That's how we operate. If there is no controversy, we have to make some controversy.
Which is why I think
Which
DT taking second place for the France Archon shows just how amazing that deck and pilot is.
I was actually going to say, which
Right?
is why I say half the things I say on this show. Just to stir up a little drama. That's what I do. I'm a shit starter.
Hey,
What?
I mean, again, like you're dealing with a 16-person pool
Yeah.
in the nationals.
I mean,
look at this, unfathomable. I was so close to bringing a DT deck to Dallas. Oh,
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have any. I mean, I have dreams of winning one of the LCQs at KFC2, extra crispy. But I mean, and I honestly am entertaining the idea of playing Rose. If by some miracle I make it in. A lot of stars have to align and all that, but if I were to make it in, I have a thought of playing my DT deck. Just a thought. But time to get into GameFound news. We got a little article from GameFound update number 2. Most of the article is highlighting the Geistoids and the new the haunted mechanic plus well, actually just no, it doesn't actually say anything about the scrap mechanic, does it?
no, but I mean, haunted we have seen with the Grim Reaper.
Right.
So yes, if you want to go ahead, which was an anomaly back in Worlds Collide. So if you want to do spoilers, like this time
this is the time where I normally tell Z to give us the obligatory spoiler warning. But he's not here, so you'll have to do.
All right. If you don't want to go ahead and hear about any new cards, this is the time to tune out. We'll see you next time.
All right, so first new card we see in this is Haunted House. It is an artifact. At the start of your turn, if you are not haunted, discard the top card of your deck. Omni, if you are haunted, gain 1.
Not bad. I've seen people comparing it to Mecha Buoy, except like a bit more one-sided, with it being only the active player that gets the benefit of it.
And I like that. I just my biggest fear in this set is the ability to get to haunted and to maintain that posture.
Well, there's another card later on that.
Yeah, there is, but
haunted.
I don't. Okay, and we'll get into that. But I just the maintenance of haunted. I don't know if you'll be able to maintain that. Hopefully, there's a lot. I'm going to use a magic term. Sorry, graveyard interaction. I know it's discard pile, but some interaction where you're able to play things from the discard pile, kind of refilling it and then using it all at the same time. I hope that's a thing that's there. There is an owl in the next card that I'm hoping gets his own card. Can we make a set of all the critters that deserve their own cards that are not getting their own cards? But we got next card we got up is Touchstone. It is a 4-power, no armor specter from the Geistoids. After Reap, if you are haunted, draw 2 cards. Otherwise, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. So again, another way to get you to haunted with, and if you're already haunted, some efficiency.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the 4 power on this creature.
It might live.
It might live, and if you are haunted, the ability to take an amber for reaping and to draw 2 cards, yeah, it's real good, boys and girls.
Yeah, like I don't hate Bot Booked-in, so like losing 1 power for drawing an additional card, I think it's not a bad trade-off if you're haunted.
Or it gets punched in the mouth by a warrior. One of the two. We really don't know.
Isn't Bot Booked-in the one where you play the top card?
Doc Booked-in.
What?
Doc Booked-in,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, wait. But yes.
Bot Booked-in is a wild wormhole.
Right.
Correct. That's what I was hearing. Sorry. Old man ears over here.
Yeah, it happens. All right. So next card we see is Webster, 8-power Spectre Location. Locations can be creatures now?
Hey, that's not a building.
All up the Titanic, I'm pretty sure. Right?
Yeah. I have no idea. But anyways,
There's precedent.
it has Taunt. After fight, for each damage on Webster, you may discard the top card of each player's deck.
I mean, disregarding the ability, it's an 8-power taunt
8
creature.
power taunt creature is not bad. No real
Good body.
downside for once.
Yeah, because it's a May ability, so you don't have to activate it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe sometimes it'll come up where we want to use it. So I think that's good utility. Nice card.
Yeah. I believe we've seen the next card already in DT. I forget what it's called because it never played any relevance. It's called Boo. It is an action card.
Thalassophobia is what you're
Thank
thinking
you.
of.
Thalassophobia. It has an ember. Does Thalassophobia have an ember pip on it too?
It does, but I believe Thalassophobia is only your opponent. I can double check that.
Oh, that's true. I believe you're right. Discard the top. So this is once you play it, discard the top 10 cards of a player's deck.
I like
Correct,
the
yeah.
choice here.
Now, I got blasted for saying I thought Thalassophobia might do something. I wasn't sure. Because I know Thalassophobia against fraud has the ability to put a lot of things in your discard pile that maybe you don't want to see slowing you down. Unfortunately,
the way I
DT
like
was
to
a
think of-
trash set, so we never got to find out.
Well, Thalassophobia is also in WoW, but the way I like to think of that card is it's an information play. Now, there are some exceptional circumstances where, of course, like you get lucky and get rid of a key combo piece that the opponent might not be able to get back to quickly. But at the end of the day, every time you play it, you're learning of 10 cards that your opponent doesn't have in their hand and will not draw into.
I've always been fascinated with that card. I kind of had the same idea of like it puts it in the discard pile. Like you're discarding a third of their deck, which you no longer have to worry about. Yes, you're making it faster for them to just recur, but like they have to wade through however other many cards. But I mean, they're only in 36 card decks. I to a degree get Z's point. Like it could just flip their deck for them. It doesn't really matter.
Well, and there might be some cases in Grim Reminders where you might want to flip their deck for them.
Maybe, but I mean, yeah,
Maybe.
you want to get them off haunted.
Where I typically, I mean, that is the big mechanic that we're seeing with House Geistoid. I want to be able to go ahead and see an immediate response. So looking at Geistoid, if I can go ahead and discard cards for myself to put me in haunted, and then there's benefit, that's worthwhile. If I can do it to my opponent, because this is discard the top cards of a player's deck, and I can do something with that by purging a card that also provides, a focus or a lane for me to be able to take. So those are the two lanes that I'm looking for, but I need to see a little bit more from Geistoid. But this is...
Sorry, Unfathomable was pointing out to me that Lollop is also a location.
Yes.
I forgot about Lollop. Again, another card from another set that's never really come to prominence. But moving into Be Our Geist. Nice.
Thank you. Disney
BR.
fan here. Way to go.
And if you notice, he is holding a candelabra.
Oh, there's a lot.
In his left hand. There's a lot going on here. He also looks like he's got the same head as the dude from, I believe it's Final Fantasy.
What,
Nope.
dude?
I don't know. There's like a witch dude. I don't know. Maybe it's not Final Fantasy. Maybe I'm thinking something different. But like the heads of the Geistoids and a lot of them with that like little hood thing, that character looks familiar to me and I can't quite pin it. And it's the same purple too.
There is a little bit of a Jawa hood that's there. I think the background of the windows for Be Our Guest with Disney is very, very evident, but that's what I'm getting. I think it's hysterical to see some of the pots and pans around that are metal. Like, I think this is a great dad joke, so I'm loving this.
What about the pots and pans? I'm confused. Mrs. Potts?
Oh, that's what you would see, yeah, from... Yes.
Okay, but anyways, it's got an Ember Pip on it. Play. Choose a creature in any haunted player's discard pile. Play that creature as if it were in your hand. I like this card.
I love it. It's like an upgraded Exhume, again with the cost of being haunted.
No, this is a mimicry that is for creatures.
Well, that too.
Well, you do have to be haunted, so it could be you or your opponent. If you're both not haunted, it's just a simple Amber. And that become like, this is something to know. Like early game, BR Geist is not going to go ahead and be doing much. But
Right.
Gets
I
you
think
an
it
Ember Pip.
scales greatly in late game potential with how potent some of the constant effects of creatures are.
yes,
It does get you an Ember Pip regardless.
I will say, playing Mark of Dis, though, this can be brutal if you're going to bring in and like be aware of what you're playing against. Because while I want to bring in certain key cards or creatures from my opponents, I love daughters, like Mother's there. Mother all of a sudden be putting on my side when I don't have logos means I can be marked real easy. Like there's certain cards that
I would
you
have
gotta
liked
be
to
aware
see
of.
the card said to have added the text, "This creature belongs to House Geistoid" for the remainder of game, but that is hard to track, so I understand why they didn't do it.
Yeah.
So
You know, another potential that I like with this card is to deny a creature to your opponent on the
The
reshuffle.
cycle. Yep.
Yep.
or I just take your Infernus. Or not. All right, let's get into what is this? Mimeti? Is this a machete?
Mamet.
Mamet. 1 power Geistoid creature, Spectre Fairy. Play/destroyed. Archive the top card of your discard pile. So we do have a little graveyard interaction there. This seems a lot like, who's the dude in Logos? It's one of the XYZ guys,
Yeah,
right?
you're a researcher.
Researcher. He does a very similar thing at 2 power.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, what I think, I mean, we're going to talk about all of these being common cards, but I love how they even put the combo of BR Geist and Mamet right there. I will choose your creature while I'm haunted. I will play it, and then I will archive that to be able to do it again. And we know the rarity that shows up. So unless this is limited with it being common, it's possible that you're going to end up with what, 3, 4, 5 of these?
I don't know, 5, 2 or 3.
Well, I mean, but those
probable.
two or three are a lot more likely, but you can get up to 5 with our ability. But like, that's straight up crazy what could happen.
Yeah, I mean, ZOX Researcher is a great card just as a play effect. So it'll be interesting to see how the Destroyed can play into that. Whether that allows your opponent a little bit too much control over what's in your archives. Muddy it up a bit.
Archive, yeah. No, I mean, you're going to get the choice of what you archive. I mean, it's probably what you're going
In
to
the
want
play.
it to be is, well, no, it's archive the top card of your discard pile.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you get the choice on the play, but
Right.
your opponent gets it on the Destroyed, potentially.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
I mean, and that's fine. Like, we've seen that muddying up the archives isn't like the biggest loss in the world.
It's interesting that used to be something that we would shy away from. We were really trying to keep a clear archives, and now we're kind of used to it with autoencoder and other things that have been out there for a while. Like, you're just like, archive is better than no archive, so
Right.
I'm fine with it being dirty.
But when you only have 1 or 2 of these, right? Like autoencoder, you're dealing with 8, 10 cards a game. So that's that. I think scale makes a bit of a difference with muddying archives.
I do agree with that.
Oh, man. And then if this goes up against an autocannon, I just get the top 2 cards of my discard pile archived, huh? So I play it, right? So when I play it, I get the play effect, do I not?
Yeah.
Because I get to choose the way it interacts, right? So I play it, resolve the play effect, resolve the autocannon, it then dies, so then I get the next card too.
It's if it has a damage pip on it, that triggers before the play
That triggers
effect.
before the play effect, right? So there's a fun little combo. I don't know if autocannon's in the set. So I don't know if Brobnar is in this set. I have not a clue.
Yes, it is.
We had at one time figured out all the houses, but I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, Brobnar is in the set.
So what is it? It's Brobnar, Geistoid, Star Alliance. Nobody? Okay. I'll figure it out later. And that's gonna do it for us this week, yeah?
I thought the last component, Grim Reaper, obviously is coming from.
Do we want to go
House
over Grim
Geistoid.
Reaper? Because we already kind of, I mean, Grim
No,
Reaper's
I mean,
been around for a while now.
It's been around for a while, but what I thought was interesting is it comes as a common card. So all of the cards that we talked about, from Haunted House to Touchstone to Webster, Sweet name, by the way. Boo, BR Geist, Mehmet, and then the Grim Reaper, all falling as common cards for the Geistoids.
Yeah, it seems like great value.
Have they
Yes.
announced how many cards are in this set?
No, but I do have the houses for you.
Okay, what are the houses?
It is Brobnar, Equidon, Geistoid, Mars, Star Alliance, Unfathomable, and Untamed.
Ooh, Untamed making a comeback.
Well, I mean, there's so much recursion in there, right?
I mean,
it
I
just
know at
fits
one
right in.
time,
It
and I
does
wasn't going to
naturally
go back
fit.
to the updates, they showed the packaging and they had the houses on it. So I just don't remember what it all was. But again, blue packaging makes me nervous. That's all I'm going to say. Don't laugh at me. Very superstitious.
Uh,
Very superstitious.